Well, I don't know, guys. This thing has done pretty stinking good. So I did not expect this tool to be that good or that high a quality. For $23, I'll tell you what, they've blown me out of the water. This thing, so far, I've used it for probably 45 minutes. As you guys seen, I've done a little bit of engraving, some carving and stuff on wood. I sharpened up my pocket knife. I did some polishing on that. Did a little bit of grinding again on this little marble here. Man, I tell you, it doesn't have all the power of this like 110 volt Dremel right here. And I'm not expecting it to take the place of that 110 volt system, right? Now, I'll tell you what, there's some really nice features about this over my 110 volt system. So this right here has got this cord, right, that's attached to it. It's kind of heavy. It's got some weight and some resistance, and it puts a lot of strain on your hand over time. This right here is very much like holding kind of like a big marker, really. You really feel like you can pretty much write with it. So this thing would be really nice for engraving if that's what you do. It would be really good for deburring if you're a machinist. If you're a mechanic, you could put cut-off wheels, grinding wheels, stuff on there for sharpening or grinding things. Let's say if you have a header bolt or something down in there in between a fender well and the engine, and you're trying to get in there with a tool like this or something so you can reshape the head of a bolt that got rounded off or something, so you can get that, get a socket on it or something. You could get a tool like this down in there, most likely, a lot more likely than the 110 volt Dremel. And this has enough power to get the job done. It has a pretty decent long run time. I honestly didn't think it would run more than 30 minutes. But so far, it is going on close to an hour, actually, of running this thing. And it's done pretty stinking good. So overall, I'm pretty well impressed with it. The only downfall to it is right here on these lights right here. It has a piece of, it's a sticker over top of those holes where those lights are. That's not a game changer really for me. Just, I don't know. I wish they could do something a little different with that. On the little on-off button right here, it is 3-speed. So you click it once, there's low, medium, and high, and then off again. That right there, it has a nice little ring around it that helps protect it from accidentally getting turned on. Let's see, on this end of it, you got this little collar, right? That doesn't seem to be too cheap or anything. It's pretty well made, not too thin. The plastic right here, you can see is not too thin. Good threads on it. So with those threads on there, I would imagine they probably would have some tooling out there available, kind of like this right here that come with my my Dremel tool. This is a chainsaw sharpening guide that I don't use because my chains for my chainsaws all have the scribe mark on them that tells you the angle to sharpen it at, which takes the place of this right here. And this is also kind of a depth gauge. I don't really need that. I've got plenty of experience sharpening chainsaw chains that I don't need that guide. But the thing is, the threads here don't match, all right? So you can't use one of these from a Dremel on this tool. That's not a big issue or anything, especially for me. For some other people, they might think that's an issue. This little button right here. Now, a lot of times when you get into these cheaper rotary tools and stuff like this, even the 110 volt ones, this little button right here that holds the shaft still while you loosen and tighten the collar right here. A lot of times what happens, those things will bend or break. They feel real cheap and cheesy when you first get them. And you can actually like push down on them and you turn it back and forth and it wobbles and it just doesn't feel right. You know, it feels cheap. This one ain't like that. It actually has a metal piece that it goes through right there. So, I mean, I think as long as you don't crank this thing down real tight or anything, you're not going to have any issues. And I don't like to crank them down super tight anyway. It has some knurling on it, so you can definitely tighten that down fairly easily just by hand and not have to use the little wrench thing on it. You don't need to tighten them down super tight. So anyways, overall, super nice little tool. And where's this thing going to really fall into play here with the stuff I do? Now, you guys know I go off grid every now and then. I go help some guys out here and there just to hang out with them and stuff. Like I went out to Crazy Ed's homestead, took my chainsaw and everything out there, hung out with him for a few days, helped him kind of start getting some things set up because, you know, he was starting off at square one, right? And so I took the chainsaw and everything out there, and when you're taking stumps out and stuff like we were doing, you tend to get into a lot of rocks, gravel, dirt, metal, stuff like that into the bottom of those trees. And so you have to sharpen your chain pretty often, which is pretty tedious to do with a hand file, right? I prefer to use a hand file most of the time because I don't have to depend on a electric tool or anything to work. Just, you know, this right here. Now, the downfall to this file is I don't carry one into the woods with me usually because that's dangerous. Even if you put it in a scabbard and you're out there felling trees, this thing can be very dangerous. If you was to trip and fall, that handle can break off, and then you have a very sharp point right there, and that could accidentally get stuck in your leg or your buttocks or something. We don't want that, right? So not very safe to carry a file on your person when you're out there running a chainsaw. So where's this thing right here come in handy? Well, I can take this little thing right here out. I can put that in my front pocket. That thing right there, fairly harmless. With that in your front pocket, I don't think you're going to get hurt with that. I mean, you could, but most likely not. Now this little tool right here, I can easily slip that in my back pocket. Nothing sharp on there. It's pretty well built, so I'm not worried that if I was to fall down on this thing, it's probably not going to just break. It's that high quality, I'm telling you. It's not bad. Another thing, if you're worried about it having enough power, just go get you one of these little battery packs like you charge your cell phone. You probably have one on you anyway to keep your phone charged up. If you're out in the woods, the most important thing is to have something like this to keep your phone charged, number one. That way, I mean, your phone is your number one safety tool to have on you. If something was to happen to you, you need to call emergency services or something, you need to have your phone on you, and it needs to be charged up. So you probably should look into having a battery pack like that you can clip on your backpack or on your belt or something like that, and just have that with you. So that right there can double as something to charge this right here. It charges via USB-C, which a lot of phones, that's what they use nowadays. I know mine does. Even my camera equipment, most of my camera equipment and stuff uses a USB-C. So yeah, I mean, I just can't say enough about this. I am thoroughly impressed with this little tool and its capabilities, what it can do. It does everything that my big Dremel rotary tool does. You know, it doesn't have as much power, but it has quite a bit of power. When I first seen it and held it in my hands, I was like, are you kidding me? There's no way this thing's gonna, you know, have much power to it. And I turned it on. I can put it on high. I can stop it, you know, but I can tell it's got a good amount of torque to it. So I was fairly impressed with that. I was like, that's all right. For as small as this thing is, and it has that much torque, I am very impressed, guys. And for $23, and I didn't have to drive to the store or anything. I just got on my phone, Amazon, ordered off Amazon, and I tell you what, you don't have to drive nowhere to get it. It comes right to your door, undamaged and everything. Man, super nice, and it speeds up sharpening the chainsaw. And I think that's where I'm going to use it the most, is taking it out with me so I don't have to go in and out of the woods. I know you guys are like, well, they make those little chainsaw sharpeners that they sell at the farm and home store. Yeah, those run off of 12 volts. The biggest problem with those, well, number one, is they're big and bulky. I mean, they're like this big, right? Hard to hold on to, not very comfortable. Probably the biggest downfall to those is you got two little alligator clips. You have to connect those to a 12-volt battery. So you're either going to be traipsing in and out of the woods with a 12-volt battery, or you're going to have to go back to your vehicle in order to sharpen your chain. Not something we all want to do, right? So if you can take something like this with you and you're out there in the woods, there you go. And it's safer than the old file. It's quicker than the file. And I don't know. I just can't say enough about it, guys. I only wish they would do something with this little sticker that goes over the lights right there. We know that sticker is going to come off one day. So that's probably the cheapest thing I can see about it, is just that sticker over the lights right there. It's not a big deal. We know it's going to come off there one day and probably let dust and moisture in there. I mean, it does have some air vents on it right there to help keep the motor cooled off. It didn't feel like it was getting hot or anything the whole time I used this thing. And when I was sitting there grinding down into this piece of wood, I wasn't really giving it any mercy. I was seeing what it would do, and I was thoroughly impressed with it. It done pretty stinking good. So anyways, if you guys are looking for that perfect little gift that, you got your husband or your granddad or someone out there, they've got everything. You don't know what to get them. Maybe they already have rotary tool stuff. Maybe they're out there cutting firewood right now. There you go. Foliv, $23 on Amazon. I'll have a link down below in the description. Just scroll down and click on that. It'll take you right to it. And this thing, I think it got here in like 3 or 4 days. So yeah, that was another nice thing. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.